Welcome to Allan Reports TV. I'm your host, Allan Labucan. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's been a while, it's a few weeks since we last had our show out. The reason for that is we've been working really hard on some format changes to the show and some new services that we're going to be announcing soon. And so today we're going to change things up. It's not going to be our regular format to the show. We're going to talk about some of the changes that we're working on and why we're making those changes, and how we think that it'll help the viewers with their with the task of trying to find high quality resource companies to consider for investing in. And so on today's show, I wanted to talk about some of those changes that we're working on and the reasons why. And one of the key things that we're working on is changing the format of the show. In past shows, what we would do is we would start with an opening commentary and then follow that up by talking about two to four companies about news that they've had out recently, and discuss why that stands out to us, and also reasons why we follow those companies. And in the opening commentary, we would talk often about trends that we're seeing in the market, or big picture issues that affect resource stocks and the commodity space, and how we're going to change things in the future. Our next show and future shows is we're going to go back to an old format that we had that we used to call our resource stocks talks. And what's going to happen in the resource stocks talks is we're just going to talk about one company per show. Now we're going to try to do interviews as many times as we can with representatives of resource companies. But sometimes scheduling can be a bit of a challenge. So sometimes it'll just be me talking about those companies and talking about their what they're working on and how we see things from our perspective. And but we're going to be working mainly with just one topic per show, or one company per show, and try to incorporate into some of those talks the issues that we used to discuss that affect the industry in general, or resource stocks specifically. And so that's one of the key things that we've been working on. Now, we're always encouraging our viewers and readers of our reports to that we're open to suggestions, and that stands for the new format that we're working on. If you have any suggestions, feel free to send them to us. You can send them directly to me at allan@allanberryreports.com. What we'd also like to encourage and invite you to do is, if you have companies that you think we should be talking about on our future shows, send them over and we'll do some homework on those companies and consider them. We think that we really would like to hear from you on those issues. So feel free to send over any suggestions you have to allan@allanberryreports.com. And if you need to, you can find that on our website. Just go to our Contact Us page, and you can find the where to send your emails. So that's one thing that we've been working on. The other thing that we're working on is our membership. We're going to be starting a new membership part of our website, where we're going to have on the membership site, we're going to start by offering an email version of our reports just to members. And where this comes from is, in the past, I've been interviewed many times on Business News Network up here in Canada. And when they invite me to go on there, they want to talk about commodities, and then they also want to talk about some companies that I pick, my picks. And generally, I give 2 or 3 picks per time I go on the shows. Now, what I do when I prepare to do that those picks is I go through the roster of companies that I feature in the reports. You can find that roster in our most recent report. Just go to the reports section and find that report, the most recent one, and it has our current roster. And there was some introductions of new companies in there, so they're all in that report. And so I'd go through that list and I would look for those that had stock trends that I thought were prepared to go higher. And so it was part looking at the fundamentals of the company and also looking at the trend and performance of their stock recently. And so that's what would go into my picks. Now, the reason I've been invited back so many times is had really good success with those picks. I consistently was able to pick a lot of good companies that performed well shortly after I went on the show. And so I came to realize that there's a service there that goes beyond what I do for free on the website and in my reports. The website and the reports have always been sort of focused on finding companies to add to the roster, and then encouraging our readers and viewers to go out and do research on those companies. And that's going to continue with our shows and our reports. But what's going to change is now we're going to incorporate the work that we do on the fundamentals of companies and the trends in their stock performance, and offer that to paid members. It's been putting the reports out for over 5 years now, and we've never charged for any of the reports. We don't intend on charging for the shows that we do on our website, and we're going to continue to do that homework on the fundamentals and talk about that homework on the shows. But it's now getting to the point where that's not a business model that makes a lot of sense, and we've got to start looking after the bottom line at Allan Berry Reports, and that's why we'll be looking to this membership service in the next couple weeks or so. We'll let you know when that happens, but as far as the new show format that we're very excited about, that's we're getting ready to launch, do our first show interview this week sometime, and so we'll if you're on our email list, we'll send out an email blast of when that new interview goes out. So some of the reasons that we wanted to do, some of the key topics that we talk about often on the shows and in our reports, we talk a lot about long-term supply and demand trends. And the reason is that we believe that if you follow the supply chains of many commodities and the demand trends, it will give you a strong understanding of where the prices of those assets are going to go in the future. And so, for example, if you had strong demand and strong supply, the price wouldn't really go anywhere. The reason that we've had strong prices in many commodities for over a decade now is that the supply chains have been weakened over the past 2 to 3 decades due to underinvestment in exploration and new development of producing properties, and that's why the supply chains are soft. And now you add the demand from developed economies and emerging economies for those various different commodities. That's a perfect storm that's been going on for the past decade, and why prices for many commodities are where they are today. So we'll continue to talk about that in our try to incorporate that into our interviews. Now, one of the key reasons that we started the reports back in the summertime of 2005 was the feeling that the best way to invest, we felt for a long time that China, India, and other emerging economies are good places to have investment exposure. We just felt that the best way to get that exposure was through commodities. In order for those emerging economies to develop at a rapid pace, they consistently need more and more commodities. And by investing in commodities or resource stocks, by extension, then you don't have to worry about economic turmoil in those countries, political situations. Basically, when they are growing, they need more commodities. And so that is the best way we feel to get exposure to the economic growth of China, India, and other emerging economies is through commodities. Now, when it comes to the commodity and resource stock space, we feel that resource stocks are often underpriced, and because they're not as well covered by the mainstream media, and this creates some great opportunities, and it's a really leveraged way to get exposure to the commodity space. And so currently we think that, and we've talked about this on a lot of past shows, we think that resource stocks are underpriced and are due for major repricing to sort of factor in the current high prices for many of the commodities. We just don't see that the current commodity prices are being accurately reflected in a lot of the high quality resource stocks. And so if you had to choose between resource stocks or commodities, we think that high quality resource stocks are going to perform better. And one of the key strategies that we think that we've talked a lot about in past shows is that we think that whenever you're in a long-term bull market, one of the ways to enhance your performance is to buy the dips. When the stock market sells off, if the fundamentals haven't really changed for the sector or for the companies in that sector, yet the stocks are getting sold off, that's a good time to be a buyer. And when there's rallies, it's a good time to trim and take some of those profits or get rid of some of your dogs to prepare for the next time that there's a dip. And so buying the big dips and selling into the strong rallies is a way to enhance your performance, and we think that that is an exceptionally good strategy going forward for the long term. In this kind of an environment, although that is a good strategy to be most effective at being able to pull off that strategy, we think that that kind of an environment, it's even more important to really understand the fundamentals of the companies that you're involved with. And this leads us back to one of the key reasons that we're making the change to the format of the show. We want to bring representatives of those companies on to talk about their fundamentals, what they're working on, what the overview of the company is, so you can get a sense to where the company's coming from. We always look at it sort of as an outsider looking in. We'd like to talk to some of those insiders of the companies and hear what they have to say. And that's one of the key reasons for the changes to the show. So, as I said earlier, we're going to be making some changes. We always like to hear your input. If you have any companies that you think we should be talking about on future shows and interviews, just let us know through email at allan@allanberryreports.com. Stay tuned for our membership. For those that are interested, we'll get that information out to you as soon as we launch that. Our web design guy is working on those changes, and we hope to launch those in the next couple weeks or so. And so that's a wrap on our show today. I just wanted to go over some of the reasons we're making some changes and sort of give you a heads up on some of these changes that are coming very soon. So before closing, as always, I'd like to stress that this show and our reports and our website are for information purposes only. We aren't making buying or selling recommendations. It's important for you to do your own research and speak with your financial advisors before making any investment decisions. We're always trying to grow our audience, and any efforts you make to help us with that by sending out notes to your friends that follow the markets about our reports our website and our shows would be greatly appreciated. We also really appreciate you taking the time to watch these shows. We know that everybody's very busy these days, and we strive to produce a show that saves you time and brings you helpful, high-quality information. As always, we'd like to thank, we use youtube.com as our to produce these shows and broadcast them to you, so we'd like to thank them. Also on our website, you'll notice on the left and right of our of me on our website that we have banner sponsors. Those banner sponsors are really important in us being able to do the work we do, and so we'd like to thank them as well and invite you to check out those companies by clicking on their banners and going to their websites. And of course, to you, the viewers, you're the most important, and we really appreciate you taking the time to watch the shows. So you want to keep up on the show, if you're not already a subscriber, there's no charge to be a subscriber to our email list. Just look above me on the website and you'll see a subscribe section. Fill out the information and we'll keep you updated on the work that we're doing. And we hope you can join us for our future shows. You can find all of our work on our website at allanberryreports.com. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.